All right, everybody. Good afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another PrePub Chit Chat with the Chattering Magpie and the gang. Today we're going to be talking about A Sense of a Bookworm Part 5, Volume 10, Part 3. Wow, what a mouthful. Slowly but surely we're getting to the end of this amazing series. But yeah, there's so much going on right now, and I'm excited to talk about this and how this craziness that's going on in the Royal Academy is gonna get resolved. You guys, we knew that the Ehrenfest and the and the Ehrenspec stuff was crazy and wild, but dudes, the stuff we just read, honestly. It's wild. It's wild. So with me is the gang to talk about it. Say hello, gang. How are you?
Hi, gang.
Hello, chat.
Yay. Hello.
I want to say something about what you just said, Magpie.
What?
So until this pre-pub, I was of the opinion that Kazuki Sensei was not good at conflicts, because all of the war, all of the fighting so far was easy. It was resolved super quickly and simply. But now we have this, and I'm like,
a mess.
Where was all of this before?
Right?
I want to see this animated.
Yeah, and for web novel readers, I do admit that we were really severely disappointed with how she handled the Ehrenfest situation, because it was just like points of views here and there, and they were just like telling the story, and we're like, well, that's boring. And we did get like a little bit of action, because she did add in the web novel all of these side stories that describe like Gunther. I mean, come on, Gunther punching those wolfen eels and then using all his amulets. That was badass and crazy, and I loved it.
It was more cartoonish than anything.
But it was still fun. It was again from a commoner point of view, so he was like definitely a little bit unreliable. It would have been nice to have seen it from like a noble perspective also, but you know what, it's all good. But yeah, like I'm liking a lot like more of the action going on. Maybe there's more like strategic, like stealthily, like using these things, ambushing enemies, kicking Detland in the head. I love all of that stuff. I love it, and I want more. I'm really enjoying this so far.
I can't believe you threw Daniel under the bus right there. He was right there when Gunther was using the charms.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it wasn't his POV.
But it wasn't his POV. It was a commoner's POV.
He did react.
I know, but I wanted a noble point of view seeing this guy. I guess it's hard to make the magpie happy, I suppose.
It's hard to make everybody happy.
The entire time in the first chapter, I was thinking big bomb.
Oh yeah, how many
big bomb?
Because dude, how many big bombs have we gotten in this volume so far?
Yeah, but I was only thinking about that specific big bomb because because they were talking about it previously, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna blow it up." And then you know how disappointed I was when it didn't happen.
Oh,
I was so sad.
I'm sure you're getting now your kick of big bombs, explosions, and all kinds of weapons of mass destruction here, at least for Jurgen's standards.
Big bomb of blasphemy!
Oh yeah, let's... so before we head into that, let me just say hello to the folks on the YouTube chat. You guys gather your thoughts, just get your little index cards in orders while I say hi to Crusher. Hello, Crusher! You were early, gang. I see you're here amongst us. Welcome. Happy to see you. You were the very first one. Congratulations, Crusher.
Thanks.
Good for you.
Yay, Crusher was early gang. We also got Ninetales fan. Crusher says, already got a few memes ready in the Discord. Did you post them? I think I got the ones from Red Tempest, but I didn't see yours.
They're in channel.
They're in the channel?
Yeah, they're on the meme channel.
The meme channel.
I could repost them.
Could you repost them to the voice channel?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, thank you. So we got hello to Trelos, Aaron Kingsolver, Luis Fernando Quiroga Gonzalez. I love saying hello to Spanish speakers, of course, because I don't know, I just have a soft spot. So Luis Fernando, I know you are way out in time zone that's not matching this one, but I hope you enjoy the rewatch. Happy to see you on the early gang chat. Maya Raslan says, hopefully I'm awake for this time. If not, maybe I'll join it a little bit late. I hope you join it. I know it's like, you said it's like 7 a.m. ish your time. So I hope you are, rise and shine, darling. Rise and shine. It's time for Bookworm. Jenny M, hello Magpie and the gang. I loved how Eglantine and Anastasia's karma came back to bite them this part. Oh yes, Ross really reminded Anastasia's how they screwed up with Ferdy and her before. So satisfying. Oh yes, we will talk about that a little bit more, but yeah. The second thing I loved, she continues, was how Rosamund wanted Judith to be with them during the fight. I hope Rosamund will tell her she was dearly missed if she gets the chance. Yeah, poor Judith, she's always being left behind. She will love to hear that she was appreciated, but then she will be sad to hear that they suffered because of her. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Will she be happy or sad? We'll see.
I think she would be frustrated.
Frustrated for sure. Man, why couldn't she have just rebelled?
Well, you know what? A lot of people are frustrated, so
she's not the only one for sure.
She can join the club with everybody else.
Yeah. Now, Houston, we have a problem. Says, I would join, but I have an exam 10 hours from the start of the live stream. Houston, we have a problem. I hope you have no problem in your exam. Sending you good vibes. Rest well, eat well, drink some coffee, water, whatever you need to do to get your exam done and ace that sucker. You got this. So everybody wish the best for Houston for his exam. Houston, we have a problem. Yes. Let's see, who else? Alvaro M. Valdebenito again says, what a bad moment to develop mana sensing. Now, we did understand that. We got that part at the end where she feels an overwhelming pressure. We don't know if that's it though. Hasn't been confirmed. Though I did see on Reddit a lot of people going like already speculating what it could be. Gillian Paris says, oh boy, this week's PrePub is fire. You know what, you guys? I feel like this volume has been pretty darn awesome. I don't know. Is it just me?
It is
It's
awesome.
one of the high action.
Oh, so good.
It's a good one.
This volume has been a roller coaster of emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you guys see how when we were heading into part 5, volume 5 and volume 6 and volume 7, I was like, oh, you guys have to get ready and brace yourselves because it's a wild roller coaster from here. Was I lying? I was not lying. It's just not gonna stop you guys. Can't stop, won't stop. All right, so let's see. Akihana, Crystal Waterstar. Let's see. Jade. Jade says, hello, early gang. So excited to listen to this read along on the way to class. Oh, you're going to class. Hope you have a good time in class, learn a lot, and then enjoy the rewatch if you don't catch the rest of the thing. We miss you and hope that maybe next time I can schedule it on a time when you can join us so you can read with your beautiful voice. Let's see. Oh, Noemi was on Early Gang. She said, hello, Early Gang. I sadly will not be there, but I can't wait to rewatch. I hope everyone has fun. We will try to have fun, but without you, it's just not the same, Noemi. What can we do? I know you're in school and work, so you know what? We understand and hope to see you around in Discord sometime. Have fun and do your best at school. Tarot Moon Dream says, hi Magpie, can't wait for the tea to be spilled about this PrePub. Yes. And Patrick Elsie, hello, there you are.
Hi.
Says, I can't wait to read it for everyone. And you know what, Patrick, thank you for highlighting all these chapters. Today we are going to be reading the second chapter, which was called, what was it called? The
Road to the Garden of Beginnings.
Oh, no, it was the Duty of Ascent.
Duty
of Ascent. So we're gonna read that one because we need it. It's so cathartic. It's so awesome. I need it.
There's so many. There's so
Could
many
I just
mic
say?
drops.
Could I just say something about the previous chapter?
Yes, and then it'll be Jess. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like what the way Rosamine was just doing such blasphemous stuff in the previous chapter. she is becoming a true JRPG protagonist. Time to kill God.
Oh my gosh! Do not say those things. In this,
She is a goddess.
Those are true.
What do you mean?
Those are true blasphemous words. So, since we're chomping
So,
at the bait for it, we might as well go. But first, hold on. But Patrick, first, Jazz. I almost forgot about you, but don't you worry, Jazz.
Yeah, I'll go after Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of mic drops on this on this, but what was a disappointment was all this build up for the atomic bomb, and they try and it doesn't do anything. I would feel embarrassed.
Aw.
I'd be like all this. I've told everybody to shut up. I told everybody that
They
this
will
is gonna
die.
be big.
Uh-huh.
They will die. You know,
Uh-huh.
something big is gonna happen. Nothing happens.
Now, which of the two are you talking about? Are you talking about when Ferdinand is telling everybody to stand
spear.
back, or where Raublo throws stuff at them?
It's before he throws the spear.
Oh, I see. Yes,
like he's about
yes.
to throw the spear,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then we get a picture of it,
There was just a flash.
which is even more of a disappointment because I'm like, that thing is huge.
Maybe that was a close-up, a zoom up. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was superimposed over the picture of them on the high beast.
Honestly, not my favorite composition, but I like the intensity of the expressions. So, and I've seen some people color it, and it's so choice colored. So go look it up somewhere in your socials. It's there somewhere. Some genius has already colored it, and it looks good. So we might as well just talk about the first chapter. So in the first chapter, again, it starts with Ferdinand. Let's not forget that Ferdinand basically hoisted Rosamine over his shoulder, carried her out. Meanwhile, Cornelius is like, Ferdinand, where are you taking her? And notice, he did not add a Lord Ferdinand. It was a straight out Ferdinand, where are you going? He's like, yo, Cornelius, you're not talking as a retainer, you're talking as an older brother,
I
aren't
think
you?
like manners, proper manners of nobles and stuff like that has pretty much gone to the garbage right now.
Yeah, and also more the reason
they-
because of Cornelius and the way he is.
Because there was something in, I don't know, I think it was the first chapter that they were like looking at Ferdinand just popped Rosamine onto his high beast and they didn't like say anything.
Yeah, I think the female retainers they're in on the plan. It's Cornelius that needs to get in with the plan. You know what I mean? Since he's a protective older brother, I think he's not fully
Although
on board.
I think
So
it's
hold on a second. Peter. Patrick first, and then Jess.
I mean, I can be Peter.
No, don't be Peter.
no.
Anyway, so the first thought I was gonna have is I love how in the beginning of this series, Rosebine sees the temple. She's like, "Stand the hell away from there." Then she sees a cloakroom in there. She's like, "Gods are great!" And now everybody's like, "It's time to kill God."
Oh no!
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy time.
Yeah.
I feel like Rosamine is getting like thrown around like a rag doll by Ferdinand. I mean, like literally thrown around like a rag doll.
Yeah, like he's
I
taking
would
on
be
too
the one
many
saying, like, run
liberties.
around. I feel like
No,
I would be the thrown on by
Okay,
everyone.
hold on a second. Crazy
you
and
know
then
what,
Kadir.
though?
Hold on, Crazy and then Kadir, and then Jazz.
I would be disappointed if during the fight for between Gervasio and Ferdinand, you didn't put in one winged angel.
One.
Oh yeah.
That's like a soundtrack from a game.
I just want to
okay.
highlight a certain comment in the YouTube chat.
Yes, please.
Aaron Kingslover.
Mhm.
I think everybody should read that and discuss.
No, do not.
No,
No.
Wait, who? What?
No, do not. So we got. Speaking of which, fine. I'll just show the things. So if you guys see on the YouTube chat, I'm posting the memes that Red Tempest so kindly made for us. So we have
Wait, I didn't say my thing.
Oh yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, yeah, everyone is being thrown around by everyone. It's just that Ferdinand is doing most of the throwing, but that doesn't mean he's getting thrown wildly by by Rosamine and Gustavio.
You know what blows my mind about Ferdinand? That he can literally follow everything that's going on. Like, he's literally following and planning like 10 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm. That's
like,
expected.
While all this chaos, and also making sure that Rosamine doesn't see a face down.
Yeah, he's perfection, of course. You do know that
like,
he used to do this as a little kid in the Royal Academy. He would he would like totally sabotage these massive dinner games at the Inner Duchy tournament. So he has plenty of practice.
This is way bigger than a dinner game when you played as a kid.
Well, it's higher stakes. He's definitely gonna bring up his A game.
But
it's like
I
simulations versus reality.
It's really interesting how you're like reading it in the first chapter, and you're seeing Ferdinand about to, like, he's slowly losing his mind about these people. Like his character, his perfect monotone smile, like everything's okay. But no, it's like going downhill.
Yeah,
like it's going downhill.
His noble composure.
Yeah, he broke character. He broke his own character that everybody sees.
I know.
So, and it gets worse. It's really funny.
And no, it gets better. It gets better. It just gets better. I love seeing Ferdinand unleashed. Like,
yeah, he's going on a rampage.
It's so wonderful to see that he's liberated at last from all the foolishness of, he's been tied down because of so many things, and now he's set free. He's let loose. Yeah, okay, so I'll just hold back so I don't have to like go on a Hartmut like rant, but still I am a fan. I'm a fan of Ferdinand Unleashed. Also, okay, so let's talk about when they finally throw the spear and he swings his sword with all this mana and all this thing, and they get blocked in from entering. And
that was a disappointment.
That was a disappointment. I was like, yes, they're gonna do it. I can't wait to see it. No, they were barred from it. Kind of like the same like a Shutseria shield situation happened. Why? Because they have ill intent towards Gervasio, who is in there. So, in spite of the fact that they're doing this, quote unquote, for the good of the nation, because of the way that Shutsuria's shields work, they're not let through. Well,
Shutsuria's shields are Mary Sue's.
Yeah.
They should just drop Angelica inside.
I feel like the writer went a bit too hard on making the divine instruments useful, because it really brings up the question: why isn't this considered an ultimate tool that everyone has access to?
So in the temple is a dirty place. That's why
she did put limitations on them, because all the divine instruments drain a lot of mana from the user, including the cave, which is meant to drain mana from other people. But...
And also remember that divine instruments are from the evil, nasty, disgusting, foul temple. Nobody wants to deal with that. So,
exactly.
That's the reason why people won't.
It's like going to a brothel to pick up weapons.
Hold on a second.
No,
we got Vincent and Crazy and Jazz and... Okay, so in that order, please.
I said many Dankelfelder knights now have the spear also.
Uh-huh.
So it's coming to the way where basically everyone can have it.
Mm-hmm. For real. Crazy?
It's like going to a brothel and picking up some weapons.
Yeah, make sure to disinfect it with plenty of Lysol.
Sadly, that's actually a good description.
Unfortunately, yeah. Jazz?
I think it could be more powerful, and I think that a lot more people could use it, but not in this era, in the like back in the day when they actually had a Zent in the church, and everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, praying and all that jazz. They were probably super powerful. Like archnobles were super powerful back then. They had to be.
Yeah.
And then as the generations go down and word of mouth to the, you know, politics and all that, so they just made themselves weaker as the years went by.
Oh, so it's like so it's basically they allowed themselves to just genetically rot to the point where they aren't even able to use their powerful equipment.
Kinda?
Yeah, it's like you went from like having a very advanced technological country and society, and you went back to the Stone Age. That's how I feel like it is, because everything was way more powerful back then, and we know it because we've read it in all the lore in the volumes. You know how powerful these people were.
Fergie?
Like you had a bunch of people with the Book of Mestianora. You had a bunch of people with it.
Fergie?
That means they had a lot of mana.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like the Jurgen Schmidt equivalent to the Christian Dark Ages.
Ooh. Also,
damn, we're being possessed by ghosts again.
Also, I think Kazuki, Kazuki Sensei, she likes her books. She is a librarian by like her profession. She was a librarian, so I think she
didn't know that.
Yeah, she is. She studied for librarianish. I don't know if she still works at that, but she did work or like studied for librarian arts or something like that. Something related to books and libraries.
That
explains
explains she's
it.
still familiar with like organizational systems and stuff, and including like who invented printing presses
And her passion as
like,
well.
Lose your knowledge, lose your power.
Yes.
Like knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I think that is like the all around theme of this whole light novel series. It's like,
which makes sense for a librarian.
Yeah,
that's why the most powerful tool is a book.
Right. So like if anybody has read like that Fahrenheit 490. What is the number?
451.
Yeah, 451. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's kind of like those kind of like stories, like they're warning you, like once we lose our knowledge or like that, like society will just degrade. So I think it's kind of like the story, and here we see like a little story showing to the extent as to how bad it could get. Like this nation will literally turn to dust, or the foundation will collapse because they don't have a book. So
well, I mean, I think it also is that like human beings, we get comfortable, and when we get comfortable, we don't want to progress any further. We're like, we're okay, we don't need to go any further than this. We got a job, we got a house. We're
yeah,
good.
that is true.
Yeah. The phrase limitations breeds innovation.
Now, Turashmak on the chat made me laugh. I love this. Says, at Red Tempest, we need to find a way to use the scene from The Mummy where Rachel's character drunkenly proclaims herself a librarian. And you know what? The Mummy is a movie masterpiece. So I love that movie. Yes, I agree. And I already can see it in my head. I love it.
Red Tempest, get to it.
The first one,
Red Tempest.
the very first one. I haven't seen the other ones. I just watched the first one, which is kind of a miracle since I haven't watched many movies, but I do love the original Mummy.
What's interesting is I don't think I've really seen like a full person like Rosemine that's a seeker of knowledge. Like for just knowledge, just to have it.
Yeah.
Like most people, like she only wants knowledge just to have it. Yeah. She doesn't want knowledge for anything else, which is kind of weird. Usually, you searched for knowledge for power, but she doesn't.
So the fun thing about this world is that anybody who wants to have the Gutscherheit, they basically are vetted by like they have to go through the statue, and then like there's inside is a reflection of what they like the most. So for Rosamine, it was like a whole bunch of libraries. For Ferdinand, it was a whole bunch of like ingredients, potions, all the things that are like amazing, like a workshop. It It was reflected at workshop. And so for like the bad Zent candidate.
Wait, do we know that?
It was from a, well, I linked, you guys, I linked the story on the Discord. Go read it. It's basically when Ferdinand went to go to it's from a CD, so I don't think it'll ever be translated. It's purchase privilege CD. Basically, when Ferdinand went to the Garden of Beginnings to get the rest of his Guttersheit and Rosamine was there, he tried again. He was able to get through. And then we see that all his stuff was laboratory stuff, ingredients, face stones, and stuff like that. So that's how we know. And
I think I read that one because it seemed like he was like it was like nothing was working for him, anything he did.
Yeah, and until the end, basically, what's his face? Erwin told him, "Hey, like, no, you gotta kill Rosamine, or she's gonna kill you. Like, that's how you'll complete it because she already took all your knowledge." And Ferdinand's like, "Shoot!" So, like, what's gonna happen now? And he thinks that Rosamine's gonna kill him. So he goes back to Aaron's back, and he's like, "Dang, like, we're in a predicament." Of course, it's a beautiful chapter. I love it's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, you guys. We have to read it. One day we're gonna read it just for kicks. I have to
Melancholy.
Yeah, just for kicks. Because it's not gonna be
mentioning that though. Like in the first chapter, I was like, even in the other chapters, I was like, Ferdinand, why don't you just bring out your Grouchus Just bring it out.
I know, right? But does he want him to take over the the country? We don't want him to be Zent. He doesn't want to be Zent.
He doesn't have to be Zent.
I love how in last PrePub, Rosamine actually threatened him with exposing his secret.
Oh, Rosamine.
Yeah. Troracle District like PrePub reminded me of Commander Dante from like Warhammer, where it's just like, I want to die, but I'm too busy with my duty to do so.
It's like it was really frustrating. Like it was like a lot of anime. Like the main lead won't use his power.
Mm-hmm.
He'll let everybody else die a little bit and get injured and stuff like that before he even brings it out.
It's a matter of principle, whatever principle it is. It's for plot reasons, honestly.
And he has a full book now. He went through all that torture to get a full book by copying.
I still don't think it's full.
Oh, Fergie, state your case, please. I am very interested because I have stuff to say about that.
Well, I thought time was of the essence, so he was only going to get what he needed for his current plan. He wasn't going to sit there and just get friggin' cooking notes out of some old lady duchy person from 500 years ago. Like, there's more important information he's going to prioritize, and he's not going to have everything.
No, I think he could have everything because it went so fast. Copy paste or copy place went so fast that he was still doing it. It was just torturous. That's probably why he did it all at once. He's like, I can't go.
Do not invoke the copy paste right now. It'll derail the conversation.
It's
too lewd.
Too lewd.
Yes, it was very mature.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not speaking about stop. Like, if you're going through that, you don't want to go through it again.
No,
so
of course
just
not.
get it over with. So he probably just got it over with. I think he got it over with. I think he has a full book.
All right. So let's continue to talk about the part of this chapter. Okay, you guys. So the funny thing about one of my favorite parts was when Rosamine uses the Cloak of Darkness to get back her mana. She's like, dude, I expended all this mana, I want it back. And she does. And, Ferdinand's like, totally, like, I don't know, he scolds her, but I'm like, yo, if you remember way back when she was collecting her Lord of Winter ingredient back in part 3, volume whatever, like, you just went like and said, okay, we'll use the temple's spear to kill the Lord of Winter. Like, you have absolutely no reason to be all hoity-toity right now.
I love whenever Ferdinand gets called out on hypocrisy. It's so entertaining.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And he just gets so grumpy. Now, And the thing is, like, we already know that taking another person's mana is like a delicate situation, right? And I think that he also tried to, if you see, he also tried to like kind of grumble, kind of like rationalized why he went ahead and did it too. He was like, well, I guess it's because of this. I guess it's so we must do it. But again, we see him do this kind of rationalization when he did the copy and paste. It was just like extremely hilarious. But again, Rosamine's level of innocent shamelessness, when she took back her mana using the cape, she was like, oh, that was great. And then she said that was a great banquet or something like that. In Japanese, she said Gosho Susama. I think it's like what you say after you ate a good meal, which is like hilarious. Because it's
thanks for the meal.
Yeah, thanks for the meal.
Yeah.
Thanks for the meal. She said that, which it's like saying like she took the goddess mana, and that's like lewd, and then adding that to the action at the end is like, yo, Rosamine, you shameless girl.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot when Rosamine reverted to Japanese instead of speaking whatever Jürgen Schmidt's language is, and she's like jackpot, and Ferdinand's like, what the hell is a jack of pots?
Oh yeah.
You make no sense.
What the heck is a jack of pots?
Yeah. Oh man, again we get all these precious little tidbits where they're insane. Like, if you look at all their actions just objectively, like, I feel sorry for the whiplash that Heist Hits is going through right now. Like, Eckhart and Eustace, and who cares about Strahl? But Eckhart and Eustace are like, it checks with his usual behavior.
For Strahl.
No, it's like, Heist should not be surprised because he's used to Ferdinand, and now there's two Ferdinands amplifying each other. So he should be used
now
to
there's
it.
two of them. Insert the "oh great, now there's two of them" meme.
Red Tempest, get on this.
Oh man, yeah. So, you guys are like
just wanna
ordering
add a
Red
comment to the
Tempest, and
darkness.
probably Red Tempest has a lot on his plate already. Red Tempest, we thank you for for just cranking out all of these memes. They're glorious. All right, so you guys, how about we start reading? Did we cover most of chapter 1? Unless there's something else.
I want to add a comment to the darkness of Cape thing.
I heard somebody and I couldn't quite hear you. Who was that?
Sorry, could I add a comment to the darkness?
Oh
of
yes,
Cape
please,
thing?
by all means. Let me just hold on a sec. Let me see if I can adjust your volume because
Sorry,
I
was
can't
away
really
from
hear
the
you.
mic a little bit.
Okay. Try it now.
Okay, I think another level of craziness is that she met a former god, and then a god responded to him and made her grow. So she knows that they can hear people and that they're real too, and she stole their mana back.
Yeah.
Imagine stealing mana from a god.
Oh,
It's
my
like going up
goodness.
to the Zen and just using the cape on him just to get the mana back. It's that level of craziness.
Yeah.
And also, stealing it with a divine instrument. Like, first steal the car and then steal everything inside.
Oh man. So we are gonna read today. We're gonna read two chapters. We're gonna read one chapter. We're gonna read the second chapter that PrePub. I wish we could do two, but I don't think we'll have time. And yeah. So we're gonna read the second chapter. It's a pretty long one too. So today, reading are the following peeps. Oops. Oh no, we are at the right screen. Okay. Reading today, we have me as a narrator. Rosamine will be read by Jazz. Ferdinand will be read by Kadir. Eckhart will be read by Muse. Strahl will be... Sorry, Patrick. That's why you said, oh no. Strahl will be read by Patrick. Heist Hits will also be read by Patrick. Zen Torquil will be read by Fergie. Random Others will be read by the Muse. And Anastasius will also be read by the Muse. Alright, so let's do this, everybody.
Magpie, do you want me to take Haishit's role? Just so Patrick doesn't get two.
So, I don't think Strahl's
would you
lines
rather
are too
Strahl?
many.
Oh, alright, never mind.
Because
I like doing high seats.
Go ahead then.
Unless let's see. No, I think we're gonna do this unless somebody else wants to give up theirs. But you know,
Someone can take one of mine. I don't mind.
which one? Do you want to take random others, Crusher?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So we got random others read by Crusher. Awesome. Organization in 2024. Nice. Okay. Let's do this. The duty of a Zend. As we darted through the forest, Ferdinand instructed for more ordinances to be sent out. He intended to re-enter the central building through the window we had opened upon our arrival.
There were sovereign knights in the hallway outside the dormitories. Before we engage them, we should muster whatever forces are available. High ships, contact Uncle Felger, Cornelius, contact Eckhart, and instruct him to bring us more troops.
Ferdinand then told me to close my eyes again before sending 2 ordinances of his own. The first one to Strahl, a curt message telling him to stop investigating the Sovereign Knight's order to reunite with us. The second, which went to Zend Choroqual, was laden with the long noble euphemisms expected of correspondence with royalty. But no matter how pretty the language seemed, its true meaning was anything but amicable.
If you have any dignity as a Zend and do not wish to use the Lucan Smith foundations to a foreigner, clean up the mess at the Royal Palace, then make your way here with Dunkel Felger and any remaining members of the Sovereign Knight Order.
Fernand? What should we do if neither the Zent nor the Prince Anastasius comes?
Though it would cost us some time and require a detour, we shall come up with an alternative. I admit I'm curious to see how the royals will respond.
From his voice alone, I could sense that Ferdinand was displeased. He had good reason to be. Any time a duchy's foundation was at risk, its Ob had a duty to hole up in their foundation's hall to defend it. The same must have been true for the Zend when the country's foundation was being threatened. It was just something he had to do.
You seem annoyed that the Zent is hiding in the palace instead of guarding the foundations. But would someone who does not have the Grusheshite even know where the foundation is?
Ferdinand smirked at my slight attempt to defend the Zent.
Would it matter? In that case, the best course of action would obviously be to rally the knights and defeat the invaders before they even had a chance to reach the foundation. He should at least do something. Even if you, an underaged young woman who despises bloodshed, have joined the battle, how dare someone who claims to be the Zent simply hide away?
You're overestimating me. This entire time I've been able to rely on you and my knights and the unwavering faith I put in your support. If my closest allies suddenly betrayed me, as was the unfortunate case for King Trico, I would never have made it this far.
An abrupt act of treason from Hartmut or Cornelius might have stopped me in my tracks before I even reached Arensback.
This was not some unprecedented occurrence. Retainers betray their lords or ladies on a regular enough basis. One must be able to recognize the wolves in the sheep's clothing to pinpoint who in their retinue seems likely to turncoat. From there, one must work hard to earn their loyalty or remain on guard against them at all times. These are very reasonable expectations.
But I don't know any of that.
I swallowed hard. The cautious life he had described sounded nothing like my own. At no point since my adoption by the Archduke had such a cutthroat attitude seemed necessary for me.
Of course not. Kartstedt, Elvira, Riarda, and the Archducal couple and I have vetted every person allowed to approach you. You are narrow-minded with a penchant for clumsiness, unideal trait for someone who must keep so many secrets. So we eliminated threats before they could even reach you. I consider it fortunate that you do not have your own Veronica, an obvious and powerful opponent whom you cannot easily dispose of.
Not the nicest way to put it, but fair enough.
Being denied access to the lower city and only being able to meet with certain people had exhausted me, especially considering that I'd spent each and every day buried under a mountain of work. But now, looking back, I could see just how much my guardians had done to create a safe environment for me. How disappointing that it had taken me this long to realize it.
So you and my other guardians were protecting me even more than I noticed?
You're valuable enough to warrant it. You introduced papermaking, and the printing industry improved our harvest and raised our students' grades. On top of that, you managed to save both Wilfried and Charlotte. We can assume that so much of the Sovereign's Knight Order turned traitor because the Zen did not properly appreciate their value, but we have nothing to gain from analyzing his character. The fate of everyone in Jurgensmith will depend only on what we do moving forward.
Ferdinand continued as we descended into the trees.
I will not submit to the rule of a man who controls others through royal decrees and then skirts his own duties when his country is in danger. If this is his plan, to stay hidden and allow lands enough to take control, then he is a failure of his Zent, whether he obtains the Grutter's height or not.
Ooh, nice. His tone was ice cold, and the venom in his words flowed more freely than usual. His extreme distaste for those who wielded the authority of their station but neglected their duties had not changed since his push for Wilfrid to be disinherited. At this rate, his tendrils would drag the Zent straight down into hell.
Stay strong, Cherquel.
We were still waiting in the forest when Heischitz received an ordinance from Ob Dunkelfelger. He relayed the message to us.
Our knights are making decent progress with the Sovereign Order. As for defending the country's foundation, the Ob intends to leave that to Lady Rosemine, the wielder of
I
the
highlighted this one.
Huh?
Hmm?
I think that was Heischitz.
I think I mishighlighted that one. That's my bad.
Whoops.
Sorry.
No problem. Heischitz,
No,
you can read that.
That's my fault.
No, I was just, you don't have to apologize, Jazz.
Are we going to repeat
99% success rate is still an honor roll grade.
Okay.
I think we should just repeat it with a male voice.
Heischitz, yeah.
Our knights are making decent progress with the Sovereign Knights Order. As for defending the country's foundation, the Ob intends to leave that to Lady Rosamine, the wielder of the Gruttersite. Sorry, that was my attempt at Scottish. That was bad.
That's fine. It's better than
I couldn't tell if that was like Southern America, like Southern, like United States, or just European.
It was an accent.
It was my attempt at Scottish.
It was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was charming.
Eric Ford, even Wilfried is less of a failure of an Archduke candidate than Charcoal is a Zent.
Oh. Oh, man. And yeah.
I agree with that sentiment.
Yes,
how dare you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Oh, man.
There's nothing wrong with that statement. Because all Centrarqual does, he's literally just a mana battery.
Mic drop.
Like, he's not doing anything else other than being a mana battery.
Yeah.
And sure, it can be tough work downing potions day in and day out to fill the foundation remotely. Because you don't have access to the real thing, because you don't have the
Engine time.
Like,
At that point, you just get a bunch of like devouring children, and then just like teach them compression techniques, and then just do what they plan to do with Rosamine.
It's
just keep them
not. It's below them as a society. It's below them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
there's
he's
a
just
lot
lazy
going on.
and can't find something.
There's a lot going on with Charqual. You know, he was never gonna be a king. He was not trained for a king. He's probably been trugged for years. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, we don't
defending him.
If we have no, I'm just saying. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying like there's a lot that goes into his behavior. So
he is a man. He is a man who has been beaten down by his job.
Yeah.
For most of his adult life,
his spirit has been broken, basically. So
do not confuse an explanation for an excuse.
No,
I'm not saying that he's correct.
No,
we're just
yeah. Yeah. So, let's see. Where were we?
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Anything. We're just finding out why he's slaughtered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're reading the comments on YouTube. Okay, continue on, please, Ferdinand.
Okay, yeah. Ridiculous. Protecting the Foundation is the duty not of Varenspec but the royal family. Make sure he knows that he cannot simply dump his task on another.
Resolving the chaos within the Sovereign Knight's order was no easy feat, not even for Ob Dunkelfelger. He was having a hard enough time figuring out which of the knights were his enemies, and since he couldn't just kill them, he had elected to imprison them all. Dude, is it that bad? He had elected to imprison them all as they reared their heads.
So they're just going around capturing everyone? That doesn't surprise me.
I could only imagine the mess the royal palace must have been facing. The battle there wasn't even close to being over, and the knights on our side had no reinforcements to spare. Ferdinand couldn't help but grimace as he listened to the report.
Lord Ferdinand, we apologize for the delay.
Eckert and Strahl soon reunited with us. The former had stood guard outside the library, while the latter searched the central building. Eckert explained that he had stationed 2 scouts in full view of the library so they could inform us if anyone approached. Then it came time for Strahl to give his report.
The Sovereign Knights guarding the dormitories headed to the auditorium after receiving an ordinance from somewhere to the south. We counted 8 knights in total, but the door to the auditorium was open from within, so there are bound to be more.
Hold on. The door to the furthest hall was in the auditorium. There were enemies waiting at our destination. Strahl continued.
It was not long after the Sovereign Knights, or the Sovereign Guards, moved to the auditorium to hide that Ob Dunkelfelger's troops arrived at the royal palace. We should conclude that our movements are being relayed to the enemy.
He advised us not to take any knights away from the Adalgisa villa for fear that our prisoners would immediately be rescued. Ferdinand agreed.
The Lanzanavians were simply not used to their steps. Most of them had more mana than the majority of the knights we brought with us. We must not allow them to be freed, lest they become an enormous threat to us all.
Understood.
Strahl got to work sending instructions to the villa. Amid the darkness, I saw an ordnance fly to the central building.
Eckhart, use this magic tool to search for the scouts watching us. They already seem to have some grasp of our movements, but we cannot allow them to learn when we intend to launch our surprise attack. Approach them using not your high beast, but physical enhancements.
Lord Ferdinand, do you have another tool we could give to Angelica? We could finish this sooner if we work together.
Power couple.
Yeah, right? I love this. Ferdinand nodded and gave a second tool to Angelica, who immediately set out with Eckhart. They looked as though they were soaring as they shot from branch to branch and eventually disappeared into the foliage.
Wow, they're fast. What were those magic tools?
They mainly serve to decrease body weight and silence any noise their wearers would produce. Eckhart and Angelica should eliminate the scouts and return soon enough. Use that time to memorize your next course of action.
Ferdinand was giving us all instructions and working to fortify our position when an ordinance from the central building arrived.
This is Charcoal.
And so it begins.
I hate one.
The air grew thick with tension. The Zent only ever sent direct ordinances to Obs or sovereign nobles during the Archduke Conference. That he was contacting us now meant the situation really must have been dire. The small white bird demanded our full attention. The message that followed was slightly euphemistic, but easy to summarize.
As I do not have the Grushenheit, I cannot be considered Zent. Jürgen will collapse without the true king or queen, so I will pray that one will arise.
What a absolute goddamn
What is
fool.
wrong with you?
I can take a second. I want to say that those are words of someone who is trugged to hell. Like,
Could I just use a soundboard?
I'll use a soundboard.
Okay, go ahead.
God goddamn son of a bitch!
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There goes the
Yeah.
Where is that
monetization.
from?
Where his words don't get better.
Continue on, Fergie, please.
No, that was it.
That was it. Agreed. Dude, Charqual, seriously? Seriously? Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's like, boy, Charlotte
And
is more of a
this-
man than you.
Uh-huh.
This is why when I highlighted this, I made the role for Trauer called quote unquote Zent
Uh-huh.
Trauer.
Christopher Boyd says Pilot washing his hands at this point. Oh my goodness. You know, Pilot went insane afterwards, from what I hear. Tradition says that he just spent the rest of his days washing his hands. Like, you know, Lady Macbeth kind of deal. Anyway, I don't know what insanity will happen here to Torqual. Anyway, in other words, he had no intention of opposing Gervasio or the Lanzanavians. Our plea for assistance had fallen on deaf ears.
Ugh. How is Ferdinand gonna react to this?
Not good.
In the best possible way.
Well acted.
Scared.
Well acted.
We are both scared and aroused. Scare-roused. Scared
God,
though
I
I
hope I can do this
was, I turned to look at him. His eyes were narrowed into slits, but I could still see their color changing as he took some manner of magic tool and a white knuckle grip. He's pouring the mana there. Is he pouring mana into it just to contain himself? I'm imagining he is.
Yeah,
That
but
ordnance better be made out of a black face stone.
so he uses this mana tool later to play for Anastasios.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was recording.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so he cannot make it dust. He cannot dump his. Okay, yeah, you're right. Good detail. Why did I miss that? Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only caught it when reading it after highlighting. So
oh,
yeah.
I didn't catch that part. I just thought he was like trying to pour out his anger in it. Okay. Kadir, continue, please.
Yeah. Oh, so he refuses to defend the Foundation while he is of full scent. Does he not care who take control so long as they have a grudge side? Hi, shit. How does that sound to you?
Well, yes. If someone obtains the Grutrisite, he will relinquish the throne to them, no matter who they may be.
I see. Then I was not mistaken.
I'm so scared. Like, that look could seriously kill. And is that a haze of mana surrounding him?
Ferdinand was so outraged that his mana had started to leak out. In the darkness, it looked as though his entire body were shining. The knights all swallowed at this unmistakable display of anger. He was unconsciously crushing everyone, though only slightly. Rosamine, your slightly is different from everybody else, okay? And the tension in
360
the
degrees
air,
crushing.
right? And the tension in the air made it hard to breathe.
Ferdinand?
I think.
Why don't? Oh,
Hold on,
I'm
Patrick.
sorry.
Let her just finish.
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
this. Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ferdinand? Why don't we calm down a little? You're leaking mana, crushing us all. You are right to be annoyed, but King Terracol was not wrong in saying that a true Zent must have the Grushesheit. How can he perform his duties without one?
Patrick.
So to be fair, I think this is the first time that Rosamine has ever been crushed herself. She's always been doing the crushing.
I mean, Ferdinand's the only one that can do it to her.
That is true.
That is true indeed. Yeah. Oh shoot, I forgot about this. Also, Rosamine, I love how she's Rosamine is Rosamine. She kind of like undermines his point sometimes by like trying to reason it out, like talk him
Trying
down.
to be nice.
Like Rosamine,
Yeah.
right now is not the time to like. No, he has a point. Don't undermine his point.
Yeah.
That's
Stop
just the
trying
one
to
thing.
cushion your enemies.
Yeah. I know you're gentle and nice, but
was,
not right now. Not during war. You have to be strong and firm. That's just the
This
thing
is
that.
what I was saying earlier, that I was mad at Rosemine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it makes sense for her.
It makes sense for her.
She's always, yeah.
Well, you gotta understand she's scared too right now.
Yeah.
And being
She
crushed.
she's a woman that
Being
doesn't
crushed.
even like seeing her enemies die.
Yeah. Oh, and she prays for the enemies that die also, right? Remember when Hannelore and she did a prayer?
Yes, she
They prayed
does.
for everybody,
And
not
she
just
currently has some
their side.
PTSD going on too.
All right, so in the behavior befitting the saint of Ehrenfest, she speaks up for Turqual, but little good does it do to her. Ferdinand glared at me. His eyes had stopped changing color, but I could sense the uncontrollable rage still swirling within them. I continued.
King Turkle was prepared to give the throne to even Lady Dedlin if she obtained the Grushite. He has resolved to face whatever consequences await him, which deserves some respect.
Bad point, but I like where she's going with
She
this.
will elaborate later on in the chapter.
Yeah.
Kadir?
Oh, I didn't hear the end part. Are you dense? Did you hit your head during the fight?
Love that. Ferdinand snapped, his rage now directed at me.
Oh no! I shouldn't have opened my big mouth. Now I'm in fiery line.
It would be one thing if the Zent and his family were sacrificed, but his decision to remain passive versus the entire country being taken. Next page. Over by Lanzanav. Respect does not factor into it. The man is a complete and utter failure of a Zent.
Ferdinand then looked around at the knights.
We reported that the Lanzanav misdeeds, that they used instant death potions on those who refused to obey them, that they murdered nobles en masse for their face stones, and that they kidnapped young women to send to Lanzanav, to name a few. I imagine many of your families were impacted as well. We all saw the havoc Gustavio wrought upon Aaron Spock. Imagine what he would do to the entire country under his control. The very fact that King Trogl would refuse to save Jurgen Smith from wide-scale slaughter proves he is a failure of resent. Am I wrong?
Mic drop.
Nice. His audience largely comprised of Arensbach knights who had seen the Lanzanavians murder innocent civilians, and those from Dunkelfegger who had arrived to stop the slaughter. They all nodded in response, as did my guard knights.
We have with us the divine avatar of Mesjunora, who was given the Grutchersite to degree a new Zent. Jurgen Smith will obtain a true king or queen as soon as Gustavio is dealt with, even after hearing as much from Ob Dunkelfelder. King Trogl chose to do nothing. It will not permit someone so foolish to call themselves the Zent.
The knights nodded again, more hesitantly this time. Ferdinand was openly rejecting their king.
Okay, everybody, we're doing it at the same time.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Same time.
Do you want
sure.
another duchy to face the same tragedy as Arensbach?
No! The kings declared.
Do you consider Gustavio fit to rule Jurgen Smith?
No!
I just got yelled at for being too loud.
It's okay. It's worth it. Shall we?
Yeah. Sorry. Do you consider Gustavio fit to rule Jurgen Smith?
No!
Shall we respect the Zent's decision and allow chaos to swallow our country whole?
No!
Then let us ignore his response and devote ourselves to taking down Gustavio whether he has the Grutchersite or not.
Sir!
Yes, sir.
Eckhart
Chaos! I love it.
Sorry if we disturbed your family, but we appreciate the hard work you're putting into this. Eckhart soon returned with Angelica.
We succeeded in eliminating the scouts.
There were no guards stationed inside, meaning we could use the auditorium's front entrance, a much easier alternative than trying to climb through its open window. As far as the knights were concerned, leaping out of a window and then making one's high beast in midair was simple. Doing the process in reverse, that is, leaping through a window from one's high beast, was far more challenging.
And of course, both are completely beyond me.
I do not like the thought of using a French entrance, as it renders us easy to detect and somewhat unprotected. But given that Strahl advised the same, I suppose it must be our safest option.
And so we re-entered the central building, all while keeping a very close eye on our surroundings. Though I worried we might fall victim to an ambush, not a single person stood in our way. Just as the reports had said, the stubborn knights had retreated into the auditorium. Using only his hands, Ferdinand instructed the knights to move to their assigned positions, all while keeping an eye on the hallway that connected to the dormitories. I'd attended the meeting during which they devised their plan, but I didn't know what most of the hand signals meant. My only roles were to form Schutzeria's shield in front of the door and to heal anyone who got hurt. I was drawn from my thoughts by footfalls. A group had arrived near the far end of the hallway. The knights readied their weapons as out came Anastasius. As one would expect of a prince, there were guards surrounding him. I was shocked to see how quickly he had come here. Ferdinand, in contrast, wasn't surprised in the slightest. He signaled the knights not to make a sound. Anastasius looked at us, then at the door to the auditorium. Shoot, who's Anastasius?
You asked me to come post.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
You asked me to come post haste to the furthest hall, did you not? Why are you waiting outside?
We cannot reach the farthest hall without first eliminating the enemies within. Prince Anastasius, please wait until we finish our assault.
Ferdinand, how much do you know about...
The prince must not have noticed me before, because he suddenly blinked at me in confusion.
Who are you?
It is I, Rosemine. It has been too long.
Roll?
Anastasius clapped a hand over his mouth, having likely remembered that we were trying to be quiet. He shook his head several times and started to wilt.
Hildebrand and Sigiswald told me your growth was unbelievable, but to think you changed this much.
Rosamine's growth has no relevance on our current situation. Please save whatever you wish to save for later.
He readied his weapons, then raised a hand. We could not see Strahl and the others from where we were, but they had just received the signal they were waiting for. In a matter of seconds, several explosions rang out from inside the auditorium as they began their surprise attack.
What are you doing? Stop them!
Ferdinand did no such thing. Instead, he replied in a steady voice.
Another force of ours just through magical tools made by Hartmut through the auditorium's topmost windows.
An attack on the Royal Academy is an attack on the Zent. Do you want to be tried for treason?
Ferdinand calmly held up a magic tool.
You were gravely mistaken, Prince Anastasius. We sent an ordinate to the Zent asking him to lead an army to protect the Foundation, but he refused. In his words, he would allow even a foreigner to take over so long as they had the Grudges type. Listen.
The magic tool repeated the message we had just received from King Charcoal. Anastasius paled upon hearing it.
Jürgen Smith does not have a Zent willing to protect its foundation.
Ferdinand continued hammering home his point.
Thus, there is no such thing as treason. There cannot be a rebellion against a Zent who does not exist.
Worried that Ferdinand was being too disrespectful, I moved to stand between him and the prince.
Ferdinand takes issues with useless people who refuse to do their jobs, so your father's response made him especially angry. But if you ask me, King Treacle is a man deserving of respect.
Anastasius gave me a dubious look, as he should, wary of what I might say next. I gave him a reassuring smile.
After all, for him to have surrendered the throne to a foreign power, he must be ready for the whole family to face the consequences. That takes courage.
The prince merely stared at me, his eyes wide as saucers. That was good. I certainly wasn't going to let up on him.
Prince Anastasius, you said we might be charged with treason for protecting the Foundation. Are you in agreement with King Treacle, then? As you know, the Lanzanaves used poison to kill anyone who opposed them in Arensbach and attempted to kidnap young women to send back to their country. If given the chance, it stands to reason that they will repeat this process all across Jürgen Smith. The king's decision will mean quite a bleak future for Lady Eglantine, so if you really have resolve to support him, I will applaud your courage as well.
Anastasius's face twitched.
Rosamine, you!
Rosamine, cease this chatter and make the shield.
Ferdinand interrupted, holding his weapon at the ready. He looked around one last time, then spurred us all into action with a vertical chop of the hand. Our knights threw open the door to the auditorium and rushed inside. I put whatever Anastasius had wanted to say out of my mind and created Shutsaria's shield, securing a safe place for our forces.
Oh, and if you do stand with the Zent, I would advise you to return to your villa. You would not want to get caught up in our treason. Or would you rather join our fight against Lazenave to protect Lady Eglantine? You might be interested to know that Ferdinand recognizes me as the divine avatar of Miss Leonora, someone capable of crowning new Zents.
Come again?
Anastasius yelped. His guards were exchanging looks of concern.
If you have a Gerstenset to give, then we already have a true Zent. You!
The prince's observation caused a stir. Wasn't it more than a little late to be drawing false conclusions? First and foremost, I consider it necessary to ask whatever the heck was wrong with the royal family's information network.
No, that isn't quite right. I dyed Aaron's foundation and therefore stand as its of. For me to be a true Zent, I would need to have dyed the country's foundations. Was there no report about it?
I was going to ask whether he even knew what I got up to in Arensbach, but he interrupted me with a sharp glare.
In that case, go see my father immediately. Give him the Gergesite and declare him the Zent. He would never have made such a weak, defeated statement with a legitimate claim to the throne. You don't know the lengths he goes to each day to carry out his duties. How he's always been drinking rejuvenation potions and spends every spare moment at the shrines.
I mean, I did notice how heavily he reeked of rejuvenation potions. I remember it from my dealings with Ferdinand. I also appreciated the work he was doing to keep the country stable. But what good will giving him the Grushasite do? His spirit is already broken, so won't it just drive him into even more of a corner?
If the man was so overcome with despair that he was ready to let his entire family die, then it was best to keep the Gutschiheit away from him. Letting him have it would mean forcing him to continue serving as the Zent. In his current state, he wouldn't be able to stomach that burden. Moreover, the magic tool Gutschiheit made by Ferdinand would survive only a single generation. I couldn't promise to give it to Troraquel, not when he was at the end of his rope, and, at least according to Ferdinand, an absolute failure of a Zent.
Indeed, I do not know how the king spends his days. I only heard that message from him.
You act cold, but do you not really care what might happen to Eglantine? Do you not consider her a friend?
Oh, wrong thing to bring up, my dude. Wrong words. That's when you messed up.
Yeah.
You messed up.
Yeah, this one.
You messed up so bad.
This
I've been
one
waiting for this
hurts
so
me
long.
a little bit.
I know, you Eglantine simp. I
Can't
stared.
stand her.
I stared at him quizzically. It had occurred to me way back when Eglantine forced me to circle the shrines that the two of us would never truly be friends. At least, not by my standards. She had thrown me under the bus at the slightest inconvenience, so why was Anastasia surprised that I was treating her the exact same way?
I care, to some degree, but I mostly find this strange. You and Lady Eglantine taught me that royals negotiate with their friends by taking someone dear to them hostage and then forcing them to comply. Or am I somehow mistaken? I sincerely doubt it. They did the same thing with Ferdinand when they made him choose between killing Sylvester to becoming the next of Arensbest and marrying Detlin. Normal common sense sure can be a headache.
The prince looked stunned, as he should. There was bitterness on his face. Then he cast his eyes down.
Still, for the sake of our country's future, you should give someone that Gertrude's sight. We need a true scent more than ever.
Pray tell, how can you harp on about prioritizing Jurgenschmidt over personal circumstances when even the king has chosen to abandon it? He actively refused to protect the Foundation with us. I refuse to make anyone who would do such a thing the next cent.
Their decisions to prioritize Ernstbach over Ehrenfest and to adopt me into the royal family had apparently been for the sake of preserving Jurgenschmidt. So why couldn't they step up to defend it now that a real emergency was in our hands?
Fine. If my father refuses, then I shall do battle in his stead.
Having a royal on our side would naturally help our cause, and this was the right thing for a prince to be doing. But should it not have been Sigiswald giving us his support? Right, where is Sigiswald?
Sigismund stayed home with Daddy.
He's taking shelter with his wife or something. I don't know. Yeah, taking a.
You should know your place, you cad.
Yeah,
He's not Omni and Elemental. That's why he's not going.
Doesn't matter. Neither is Anastasius. Yet Anastasius is willing to fight. Anyway.
He's a coward.
Yeah. Terrible moral fiber. Let's see, what was it? Shouldn't it not have been Sigiswald giving us his support? Was it really okay for Anastasius to stand out like this?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Any royal will do for our purposes. Prince Anastasius, be sure to cover your mouth with cloth. Our opponents are very likely to use Lanzanave's poison.
The prince and his guard knights covered their mouths, then leapt into the auditorium. The door swung shut behind them. End of chapter. Oh, that was fun! And I think we all found it cathartic, you guys. That was just so much mic dropping.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that was cracking up during certain parts.
Oh, no.
We were all cracking up in many of those parts.
I have a huge grin on my face. My cheeks are hurting, and it's just delicious. It's so delicious to read Rosamund get her comeuppance, or Anastasius get his comeuppance, sorry. Because, yeah, it's... And I love that, Rosamund started off her whole spiel with saying, you know what, Ferdinand is talking too disrespectfully. So she started by kind of softening the blow, right? And
then just stabbing him in the back.
Right? Yes, it's like, Rosamund, you need to...
It's like, oh no, you've been stabbed. Let me help, Shank.
Yeah.
Twist it in a little deeper.
Oh my goodness, Rosamund. I love this girl, but she has to check her definitions, just like Ferdinand does. She also has to check her definitions.
It's like, oh no, you've been stabbed with a sharp knife. Let me help by using a blunt knife instead.
Do you guys think that Rosamund defines her morals and ethics to Ferdinand's taste sometimes?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I think so.
But, gremlin just kind of gremlin.
Yeah, and
because she kind of did that. She kind of did that in this chapter. She was like, well, Ferdinand says no, so I say no.
Yeah, she consistently does that during this chapter, so it's basically no surprise that she acts out, because in his heart of hearts, he has violence inside him, and he's just been waiting for it to be unleashed. So his disciples gonna probably be a little gentler and a little bit more circumspect about it, supposedly, but then wreak twice as much damage. I think she did much more emotional damage than Ferdinand did upon
emotional damage.
Ferdinand woke up and chose violence. Rosamund was born into it.
Violence is her middle name. Oh man, I mean, it's just hilarious how they have been preparing all of this. Like, this whole volume feels like payoff for so many volumes that came before it. So it's just a joy and a delight to see how everything is paying off left and right.
So I feel bad for Eglantine, and I know I'm gonna get roasted by many of you people because you absolutely hate her. But
I don't.
I still think that she, while well intentioned, she didn't mean the harm that she did.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for like somebody to like
speak up
put
for
that
her.
out there. Speak out for like Rosemine or Rosemine speak out to Anastasia and Eglantine to say those exact words.
Mm-hmm. And we got them.
I've been waiting so long.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it feels so good.
Rosemine, contrary to my point, she was absolutely correct. The royal family loves to, with their friends, be like, "Hey, you know this thing that we need to do? Well, if you don't do it, then your family's gonna get hurt."
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a low blow, but you know what? They did it to her, and it's not like she's doing it for her gain. They're trying to save the country. Like in the other one, they wanted her to do it so she could give them the Grucher's height. Like there was absolutely no gain. In this case, she's kind of like threatening them for their own sake. Like, yo, get your ass in gear, because otherwise you're gonna die. Like, how else? Like, it's not even quite the same. She's using the same kind of like negotiation tactics, but not really, because if they don't leap into the fray, they're gonna end up being executed. So it's to their advantage. It's to their benefit.
Yeah,
So-
Sigiswald ain't being the next Zent. Let's be real here.
Do not. Yeah, yeah. Everybody on the chat is absolutely roasting Sigisimp.
He's gonna be like one of those like minor villains that come out and say, "No, it's my throne."
Villain of the week
He'll still do
shit.
it, even though all this shit happened, he'll still say like, "It's my throne."
Yeah, I know. It's just, oh my god. And
I
the
just
fact that he's
want
just
an-
hiding away with his wife is just, oh my god.
I want an
Meanwhile, the
accident-
delicate Rosemine is on the front lines.
She is.
Yeah.
Patrick.
I want an accident to happen to Sigisimp.
Oh.
And it's like and someone in the chat earlier said like change Troracle name to Trashcle.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, he could have been a worse character. He could have, like, back when Rosamine was Rosamining in what, part 5, volume 5 or whatever. I mean, he had good intentions, but he wasn't like outright malicious. Though, I don't know. I'm still like,
This
I
is
get
the
it.
best description for King Troracle.
What?
A pathetic victim. Nothing
Pathetic
more.
victim. Pathetic.
He's a victim of circumstance, and it's spiraled out of his control. And like, kind of talking about Charcoal, especially his line. I mentioned earlier how it feels like a Trug line. It really does, because it feels like if Rob Lewitt was like trying to set up so his master Gervasio comes in as the new leader, he would have told them over and over again under that influence, it's like, whoever has the Grunge site is going to be the new ruler. It doesn't have to be you. It could be anyone, like trying to set up that like conditioning ahead of time. And then the other thing I kind of want to point out is the whole thing about them like arresting all of the Royal Academy Knights because they didn't know who was who. I think that was also Rablut being like, let's get anyone who could possibly oppose us out of our way. We'll arrest everyone so we can just come in and steamroll.
Honestly,
No opposition.
You know
No,
what?
I thought it was
sounds-
Dunkelfelger that was arresting everybody.
Was it?
I thought it was, yeah, it was Dunkelfelger arresting because they didn't know which side was good or bad, so they just arrested everybody. I thought it was Dunkelfelger doing
my
that.
mistake. If that is the case, then I'm wrong.
Siggiswald, I don't think stupid is an excuse or ignorant of certain information, especially when you're that high up in the noble ladder.
Yeah, I think Ferdinand made a really good point. Like, you can't guarantee that you are going to not be, you can't guarantee you won't be betrayed, but you at least have to be ever vigilant. You double down on vigilance so stuff like this doesn't happen. So, yeah, he had his circumstances, but honestly, like, how long has he been king? 10 years or so? I mean, I would understand if he couldn't get control of his, or like get the allies, like nail down people's loyalties. Like if the Civil War had been like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but it's been 10 years, you guys. Like,
Also,
come on.
Robla is from Klassenburg, right?
No, he's from another duchy whose name doesn't matter.
Lusmeyer or something.
Glissemeyer.
Glissemeyer.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Doesn't
Hortensio is
matter.
Klassenburg. Hortensio is from Klassenburg. Sorry, but you know, this chapter made me really sad for Trarkol, because before, you know, obviously the duchies matter on who could get the Grudishite, and which is why they distanced Ferdinand. But when Rosemine got close, you know, and they had an avenue toward how they think people could get it, you know, he spurred his family to also take measures to try to get the Grudishite too, because they didn't want to rest on their laurels and leave everything to Rosemine, right? Mm-hmm. So even though, you know, he knew Rosemine was the best choice, he still was like, we can't let her do everything. We have to try, right? And so looking at Trarkol like that is like, you know, I really backed him. And then in this chapter where it's all falling down, you know, I think he's just defeated. Like he's given so much toward trying to support a land that can't really be supported by him, you know. And he's just you know, he's just broken now. Yeah. And that makes me sad for him.
Yeah, he really is a sad figure. Yeah.
So how much of Trarkol's push to have the royal family acquire the Grudishite themselves was his motivation, or how much of it was actually Anastasius or one of the other royals?
It sounded like Anastasius didn't want to do anything, and he just wanted Rosemine to get it, and they'd rip the Grudishite from Rosemine and call it a day. Right?
I think.
But who came up with the grandiose plan?
It seems like the royal family doesn't really want to work. They want to have other people work for them.
Fair enough.
I gotta disagree a little bit, because I think Anastasius, even though he with Eglantine doesn't want to cause a stir, he's the more motivated of the royals. Even Sigismund was he was like
hard disagree on that.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on. He's the more motivated, because even Sigismund was like, what do I need the Grudishite for? I can just pour mana into the thing, and that'll take care of everything.
He is part of the problem.
He is the problem.
Anastasius understands Rosemine the best, but in knowing Rosemine, he sees her as a tool only, right? For Sigiswald, he also sees her as a tool, right? And he doesn't understand her, but he's willing to, you know, like, yeah, I'll marry her, she'll give me the tool, I'll be king, everything will be great. Anastasius straight just is like, throw her in a room somewhere, rip the tool from her, you know, because you can't have her anywhere near power.
But
that makes Anastasius seems worse than
he's not
Sigiswald, but it's like Anastasius like sees her as a power to be like respected and negotiate with. Like Sigiswald just sees her as someone to command and take over.
No, I disagree, because I think Sigiswald was the one willing to you know, negotiate. He got his ass handed to him when he did it, but he was willing to negotiate with her. Whereas Anastasius is more about holding power over her, right? Like he doesn't want to negotiate with her; he just wants to give her terms.
He's not smart enough to realize.
I think you would defend Anastasius just because he's acting like a true royal. True royals aren't good people. You know, they just get they have to get the stuff done. You know what I mean? They have to kill
like direction.
Hold on a second. In order, darlings. Crusher, then Patrick, then Kadir.
Well, they're not. They have to do everything.
All right. All right. Crusher, Patrick, Kadir, Fergie.
I just don't think Sigiswald is smart enough to realize that Rosemine is a threat, while Anastasius does know she's a threat. That's the issue. Like one isn't smart, the other is.
The other is himself. Patrick?
So I gotta agree with that. Sigiswald is definitely not smart. I still believe that Anastasius. So when they were circling the shrines, he was, can't think of the word, but he was apologetic to Rosemine for putting her in this difficult position, because he understood how much stress he was pushing on her.
I disagree with that.
But he did specifically say that he was.
Yeah, he said it. That's
all right, hold on a second. In order, Jazz. In order.
He should have said it.
In order, Kadir. I mean, we know
right,
it. We know it.
Whatever.
It's okay to disagree. Kadir.
I just wanted to say, just like, a proper royal is not evil by nature, and they're competent. Which it's like, Sigiswald is neither of those things. He is evil, and he is incompetent.
Fergie?
Anastasia.
Sorry, Jazz. Still, we're still going in order. Fergie. After Fergie.
I was just gonna say that I too am team Anastasius, because, like, I think you guys are putting too much weight into this. I think it's just Anastasius realized who Rosemine is as a person and was willing to play to her preferences when he said all those things. Like, yes, you're saying, like, maybe Rosemine can't deal with politics, or maybe she's a powerful person. I'm not dissuading those. I'm just saying, you're thinking too hard into this. He knows that she's a bookworm. She doesn't want to be here right now. We're taking her on a shrine tour. Oh, I'm sorry. I know you'd rather be reading right now. Oh, you don't want to do this because I know you'd rather be reading. Like, he just knows her already. He's been through this song and dance 3 different times. See how she either reads or collapses. Pick one of those 2 states. And he's currently in shock because the 3rd state is apparently she grows an additional foot. So... Like, I don't know. I just think Sigiswald is too narcissistic, self-serving to even understand the peril that he's in, where Anastasius at least has some sort of empathy and compassion, since he fought for someone he loved for. He has at least some sort of caring part in his body that, like, maybe might not always agree with his processes and outcomes, but I can respect him more than Sigiswald.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, yes. Yes, go ahead, Jess.
Yes. Okay, so I respect him as a prince because he's a true prince. Mm-hmm. He will manipulate and he will say whatever he needs to say to get the stuff done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he knows for a fact that Rosemine does not cower from threats. So he knows that she needs to be manipulated, and he knows that she's pissed that they're making her do this.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to say kind words. It's not about kindness. It's about being smart about it. He's not being kind, but he's being political more so than anything. To be honest, he should have been Zen.
Honestly, yeah.
Yep.
He should have been it. I mean, anybody who can wrangle the Remlin has a vote. For me.
He's not on me elemental though.
Is he now?
He wasn't at the time. He is now.
Yeah, I think he now has all the blessings.
The fools rushed in. Why didn't he just wait a little bit? Sheesh. Now they're in this predicament. Fooey. Because of plot, of course.
Hi everyone.
Oh hey, how are you, Normie?
Hey.
Welcome. It's happy to see you.
Tired?
So that is the second chapter that we did today. Anything else you want to talk about what we read?
So they're trying to get to the Sovereignty Temple for like a medal, right? Or what is their goal?
So it is
Gervasio.
Yeah, they want to stop Gervasio because he is right now in the getting his Scrooger's height thingy. So that's where they're gonna likely go. That's the only other entrance that they can go and get him at. It's
right, but wouldn't it? They're trying to get his name stone, right?
No.
To like destroy it.
No, they're trying to stop him from getting the Scrooger's height.
But wouldn't it make more sense to go after his name stone so he can't use his stop?
I'm sure it'll occur to somebody at some point. But right now, because they want to stop the whole invasion first. So stopping Gervasio's, his forces. It's part of the plan, I suppose.
I mean, there's no guarantee that the stone is anywhere nearby. Like, it could be held at the Sovereignty Temple, not anywhere near the Royal Academy. So there's no guarantee that the stone's around.
Yeah.
So if you can invade the Grudishite upload, might as well try.
Yeah, remember that they have already moved the medals. From the last chapter, they moved the medals, so I don't even know where the medals are. There's some mischief going on with them, though. So we'll see.
They're probably with the new High Bishop.
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, he's the new. What is it? He's the new
High
bishop. Yeah. Religion, rest in peace.
Religion has exited the chat.
Por religion. Oh man. So
if they don't keep the anime going all the way to part 5, I think they should at least animate the good parts of part 5 and show it to everybody.
Just for
like OVAs.
Just for like
that's my dream.
You know what? Yes. Hey, the fact that we got a season 4 already is like, wow, monumental. Like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the quality and just so excited. Anyway, but yeah, there's hope.
Season 4.
There's
I
hope.
have given up before the announcement.
Me too. There is hope, you guys. So if they're continuing with part 3 and people get hyped after watching part 3, honestly, you guys, a sense of a bookworm, even for those people who say that part 3 is boring, which is, I disagree with that. There's some really, really excellent scenes there.
Part 1 is more boring than part 3.
So yeah,
Part 3 has
right.
a lot going for it.
Right, part 3 has so many good things. Like even the most boring part in part 3 is way more fun than like tens of all those trash isekais that they're producing. So I'm like, come on.
I think I love part 3 because we get a K-pop concert by
Yes.
Fernand.
Yes, I
we
love
do.
it so much. Oh my goodness.
We get a Charlotte's attempted kidnapping,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I always
Yeah, and
consider
I wanna-
part 3 the shonen arc.
you considered
And
part
I'm
3 the
so
what,
excited
Fergie?
about-
The shonen arc, because
Oh.
we go on our like kind of adventure
Dream
across the
gathering.
countryside, you know.
Yeah.
World building.
We get to see a lot of things, but I want to see Fernand's pictures, his drawings, because what's her face drew
Wilma?
like she got Wilma
Wilma,
got
yeah.
remember she got inspired
Mhm.
and she drew a ton of pictures of Fernand, different pictures.
Oh yes. I want to see that. Like just
Yeah,
the
I wanna
room-
see that.
Vilma's
Yeah.
room covered in like just
Like a
Ferdinand
stalker.
drawings.
Yeah, like a stalker.
Well, Ferdinand
True.
and Rosemine drawings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an excellent point. That would be an excellent time to do like a social, like, hey, draw some Ferdinand fan art in like line art,
Mhm.
and we'll put it in the show
Yeah.
as one of the illustrations.
And
So-
and it's gonna be fun seeing these women pass out.
Oh yeah. So you guys, let's go back to PrePub. It's a beautiful tangent.
Yes.
We can go and we've talked about all this adaptation. Check out the live that we did a while back, and we can talk about it later. Let's just finish out the 3rd chapter in this week's PrePub, and this is after they rush in. So there's basically chaos. Like I was trying to follow the action. But I gave up. I was like, okay, it's just basically Rosamine. All of her retainers, including, her scholars, Clarissa and Hartmut, are there. And just how they absolutely, oh my goodness, how they cast like this huge blessing using fake paper. Because, yeah. So all of those neat little tidbits, I just absolutely found really fun. As well as the part where Rob Lucas like die, or like, I'm gonna take you. He sees her and he's like says that he's gonna take her so she can serve the sovereign temple. And I saw a lot of people like reacting to that in Discord chat and all the places. Like, yo, Roblet, you'll be dreaming if you're dreaming if you think Ferdinand is gonna let you take like have her go back to the Sovereign Temple to serve there. Like, no, especially not as a flower either. So,
reading. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Reading this chapter, I kept thinking the entire time, food fight. all these magical things being thrown, all these like, I would say snowball fight, but no, because there's so much different stuff like getting thrown and pushed around. It's more like a food fight.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's your enemy, who's not your enemy, and you're like trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And you're bringing out shields and stuff.
Yeah, you're hoping that whatever you throw sticks, because remember that there's sovereign knights people who are wearing silver capes. And so some mana attacks will not affect them, whereas others will be like effective, like other kind of magical tools. You got Hartmut's huge explosion tools going on. We got at one point, we got Rosamine saying that she had all of her kids, all of her attendants, all of her guard knights. They're all around her, shielding her. Even Ferdinand puts a shield on her because Raublet's attack is just so strong. And we also got, like, they're not kidding around. Like, she is facing really strong knights. Somebody said that it's like facing like an army of a whole bunch of Bonifaciuses, which is pretty wild, you guys. Just the fact that they're able to stand up against, like, she and her little posse are able to stand against like that kind of brute force is pretty incredible, considering that they were just students like a little while ago. So let's see. We also got the part where there was a really big attack, and then Anastasius and his people, they just kind of like collapsed. That sucked. So she had to cast like a blessing on top of keeping like her shield up. So there was a lot of stuff going on. And at the end, she was like, you know what? Everybody's just fighting too much. They're like too into this battle. So I'm just gonna take their blessing. Their blessing from the Angrif, the god of fire, so they can cool off their heads. And so she does, and her allies are like, don't do this without telling us first, because everybody lost the blessing, and they just all turned sluggish. Oh, Rosamine, you
the Anastasia's part when they were all passing out or whatever, I kept thinking that they're absolutely useless, like Donald and Goofy during Kingdom Hearts. Like they just keep getting in the way. They just need to die.
Like, I think like people took hits, but I think he was the only one described as like he had collapsed entirely. So for the prince to have collapsed means that all of his people were decimated. Now, of course, they probably weren't prepared to fight Lanzanabians and their evil machines of destruction. I don't know what other tools they had, but still, like, that's pretty sucks. That sucks that just one attack just barely basically leveled them all off. Not
do
promising.
they even know how to fight?
I'm
like,
sure
do they
do.
have experience?
Yeah, because the knights are part of the Knights Order. They're just, which means that they're pretty strong, but still like not strong enough, you know.
Because, well, I was just saying, like, if they're part of the Knights Order or the people who protect the Zent, right, and the princes, Raul was doing everything to, you know, make things horrible for the royal family. So maybe he didn't train them properly on purpose.
You know what? Do you guys remember Loyalitat? Loyalitat? He was like his second in command.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead. He's dead, basically. So he basically made it so that people who were competent or who were allied or who would not go over his side, I'm sure he undermined their numbers. Like, he basically scrambled everybody around so that people would have different things. Now, I don't think he has a say as to Prince Anastasius's retainers, because as an Archduke candidate, you choose your people or they choose you, and that's separate. So even if Robert had been
Yes,
like,
but-
I don't wanna like he's not loyal to me, he doesn't have the power to fire them or to like reassign them to somewhere else.
I wasn't talking about I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about him actually training, because they do train. They all train under the same person.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how long
So I
he
think
has
he
been.
He might be sabotaging them on purpose and not teaching them properly.
Yeah, we don't know how long exactly his plan has been set into motion. So, yeah. So you guys,
Well, one thing we can base off is that Rosemine, all of her retainers were vetted by not only like Ferdinand but Sylvester and Karstad. So if that is going on, who's to say that Roblut didn't help vet any of Anastasius or Sigiswald's retainers before he got full autonomy?
True. Though Rosamine was a special case. Like, I guess we could see as a Wilfrid situation. Wilfrid doesn't have really good retainers, but he is the one that gets to hire, choose them, and fire them. So I'm guessing that that's how nobles work in general. Rosamine, again, was a special case because she is a person who she cannot keep secrets. They really need to watch out for her. So they kind of like micromanage the whole situation. They not only had her parents, they also had Riarda, they had Ferdinand, everybody, they were vetting them. So
I think it was funny that they finally, like, Rosemine finally realized that she doesn't know what her retainers are doing shit she doesn't know, and they're keeping things from her that she doesn't know.
Yeah, and also like
she just had that realization. Yeah, but she just had that realization because Ferdinand told her. He's like, "Yeah, no, you don't know everything." And it was very interesting because they've been doing that for a long time. We've all been seeing it being done for a long time, and how she doesn't realize that she's not the one in control a lot of the times.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Rosamine's retainers, it was really sad that Judith was missed, because her specialty is long range attacks. She's a sniper. Yeah, sniper girl. She could have handled Raublut but unfortunately she's underage and she was not able to join them, so she was missed. The poor dear.
I was wondering about Angelica.
Angelica, she's a different kind of beast.
Where's her sword? Like they're like, I need something. I need tools or weapons for Angelica. I'm like, where's her sword? Why isn't her sword with her?
The weapons were boots.
Well, the sword is a mana blade, so it wouldn't work with the silver capes. So she does have like physical sword like the commoners would use. They just have different tools for different kinds of fighting styles, I imagine. Yeah. So you guys,
they should have brought Schwartz and Weiss, honestly.
Now they're taking care of the library. That's more important, honestly.
What about the other ones? The ones with the sides?
They're probably in...
Oh, yeah.
They're probably...
They're in Ehrenfest.
They're in Ehrenfest.
Oh.
Yeah. So you guys, we're going to end soon. We only have a few more minutes. So before we end, anything you liked about this, just final thing, what you liked about this pre-pub part? We didn't talk about the illustration, but that was really epic. I love that illustration. Also, how they tried to crash into it was so anticlimactic. Love that. But we got a few laughs out of that chapter. Anything that you guys liked about this one?
I think this I think like this chapter, along with the other two chapters, I think it made us like feel like we were on an emotional roller coaster.
Thrills.
Because like it was like you're mad one minute and you're like thinking logically the next minute, and then you're like, go kill him the next minute. And so it's just all over the place.
As it should be. It's a battle. There's chaos. Anybody else? Favorite parts? Remarks?
Just in this chapter or what we read?
Just in this pre-pub.
Yeah, just like Rosamund going nom 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 on a god.
Yeah, I wonder what are the repercussions of what they did. We're gonna have to see later, I suppose.
The answer is yes.
There's always repercussions.
Oh, it's always repercussions. There's bound to be something happen. Unfortunately, she did not get part of her book when she yummed, but she did get her mana back. And Fergie was bitter. I mean, Ferdinand. Ferdinand was bitter because he did not get his mana filled. He was like, "How dare!" I think it's just
more like when I think of it for.
That was so funny.
Like thief.
Yeah, they were like, I think it's just because it was either they don't like him and they just shut it down for him, or it was just I want to think that they were just like, oh, it's that Quinta again. Turn it off for him. How dare he?
Well, I think
here
so
again.
too because remember when he went to the tree? They're like, we don't want you. We want Rosemary.
I mean, that's just
So,
my
I think
headcanon.
they
I
don't
don't know. It could have been, yeah, it could have been that, or it could have just been like sheer coincidence that he just went in and he was too slow to get it. But hey, he got something. And of course, he was rationalizing his act of stealing mana from another source, the gods. Always rationalizing. Anything else? All right, Eric Ford says in the chat, my favorite part was mine giving Anastasius his due karmic back chat. Yes, I was hoping somebody would say that. Yes, after so long, it was so good to see that. Because you guys remember, I was angry and distraught and so enraged at Part 5, Volume 5. But now we get a little bit of, he gets a little taste of his own medicine, and boy, was it satisfying to see him squirm.
I would like to see a POV of him during this moment.
Oh yes, I hope we get it. I don't know what the POVs for this book are. All right, so you guys, it was super fun to chat with you guys about this week's PrePub. As ever, I'm thankful to Jazz, Kadir, the Muse, Patrick, Fergie, and Crusher for reading today's chapter. Remember to support the author and join buy the book from J Novel Club. I don't know anybody who would be watching these videos and not be a PrePub reader, but you never know. I encourage you to support the author if you haven't. Anything else? Any news that I need to say? No, I'm working on a long video. It's gonna be like an hour long. Oh gosh, it's a long video, but it'll be released next week, if not the week after that. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And we will be seeing you for the next time, either read along. Yeah, we'll do a read along, possibly Thursday as scheduled, as always. Okay, everybody, say bye-bye. Thank you for reading today and for joining me.
Goodbye.
Bye.